Hello and welcome to a video that is, at least for me, very exciting because I got to go shopping. I have a nice big box of mystery fabric. So I thought today would be a good day to unbox this and see what I've got, because I have no idea. So this all came from Silk & Stitch, which is an Australian-based company that takes dead stock fabrics from the bridal industry and they then sell it on to us people who want to buy it. And recently I saw that they had put out some fabric mystery boxes and lace mystery boxes, and I was eyeing it off for a little while and going, no, you don't need any more fabric, stop buying fabric. But then there was Black Friday sales, so it was like 30% off, and these are already hugely discounted. Like the mystery boxes for fabric, it was like 10 to 14 meters of one fabric, and then the lace was like 50 meters of lace for $10. Obviously you don't get to pick your fabric or lace, but that's kind of the fun of it. It's a mystery box, you don't know what you're gonna get. So I got 2 of each because, again, it was on sale. I had to make the shipping worth it, right? So I'm really excited to see what I got in my box. Let's have a look inside. It's a bit of cardboard. Should I do the lace first or the fabric first? I'm gonna do the lace. It's on the side, let's do it. Okay, you can't really see it, but I can see it, and it says there is 54 meters of this lace. Our first lace, pulled it out of the bag so I can actually see it. And she's cute, nice little scallop number, and I could really see it at the bottom of a skirt or something, or on a petticoat. This would be really cute. As the package said, I have 54 meters of it. That's quite a lot. Plenty enough to trim, I don't know, a Victorian gown. Next lace. Yes! I've seen this lace on their website and I really wanted it. I think it's just so pretty. And again, 54 meters of it. I'm so happy with this one. I have been eyeing this lace off on their website for the longest time, going, should I just buy a couple of meters? Well, now I have 54 meters of it. Yay. It's just so pretty. Look at that little florally, I don't know which way up it goes, probably whichever way you want. It's kind of like ivy. It'll be such a nice statement on some sort of foresty, rangery, princessy, elven something or other. Like, this is perfect for that. So I'm excited to use that. So that's the lace. Now we're on to the actual really exciting stuff, the fabric. As I said, I got 2 of each box. That's why there's 2 laces. There will be 2 lots of fabric, and I have no idea what they're going to be. This is not part of the mystery box. I forgot. I was like, this doesn't feel like 10 to 14 meters. This is just an offcut of their, I think it was blush power mesh, because I wanted to try making a corset out of power mesh, and they had offcuts for a reasonable price. Now we get to the mystery box fabric. The first one is kind of a beigey taupey, looks like it will be a satin. Actually, I think that's a silk dupion, maybe. Dupion, silky something. So this one doesn't say how much there is, like the lace tells me how much there is, but when I pull it out, I will measure it. I do think this is a silk dupion, and it would make a lovely ball gown. And our final piece is a lacy type fabric. Oh my goodness, this is the heavy one. Ooh, that is cute. I have seen this one also on their website. I will measure this once I pull it out also. At first glance, it's kind of just, you know, a basic lace. But then it's got these little details here. I really love these little checkered moments, and they get bigger as you go through the fabric, which is quite fun. That's the end of our box. That was exciting. It has been about a week and a half since I have unboxed my beautiful fabric, and I've had time to think. This is what I have decided to do with this fabric, which this is Vogue pattern 1931. And while you might look at this pattern and think, oh, you've got 2 options, not really. I mean, you do, but you have to make this one in order to make this one. You need the structure of this bodice to hold up this bodice with its big bow, and I really want this bow. So how I'm going to use my fabric, the base dress, I'm actually going to use this fabric, which is some upholstery fabric. I got it from the op shop and it was $15 for this entire roll, and I'll also use that for the under bodice. And then on top of that, but not the over bodice yet, I'm going to use the lace fabric. And then that will be my base dress. So it will be a nice silvery white base dress. And then for the red section here, which is the over bodice and the bow, I'm going to use the silk fabric. This also has a little trim at the top, which technically sticks up, but I think I'm going to instead use this one because I love it so much. And I'll just sort of stitch it so it peaks up a bit, and I'll just hand stitch it to the all around the top of the bodice. This lace will not make it into this project. I think that would be a bit too much lace because the entire skirt is lace. I will put a little bit of lace trim around the bust line. There's nowhere else really for it to go. Oh well, I'm sure I could find somewhere, but I'm not going to. I will use this for something else. But I think that will be a pretty good effort of getting 3 of the fabrics into one gown. And now I just have to cut it out, and that's going to take me a while. So I just did a quick measure of this and I have about 14 meters, but now let's keep cutting. I've got all the pieces for the underdress now cut out. So I've got all my lace pieces, my satin pieces for the skirt section, and I've got my bodice cut out. The one thing I was thinking was maybe cut one more lace panel so that there's actually 5 of them, because there's 4 panels cut on the fold. So I feel there'll be a seam at center front, but I don't particularly want a seam there. At the same time, it might be full enough that you don't notice, but I think it will just smooth out that center front nicely. And then I can still have side seams where I can slip in pockets. There's no pockets actually in this, but I'm gonna sneak some in there. And then there's a zip in the center back. Let's start putting it together. Because this under fabric has been on a roll for so long, it's got some pretty decent crease marks in it. So the first thing I'm going to do before I start putting it together is iron every piece and then look at how it's doing. It is now day 2 and I can actually start the fun stuff and construct things. First thing I am working on this morning is putting together the bodice, and I have just gone ahead and marked in the darts. Now I'm just going to pin those darts in, sew them, and basically construct the bodice. dress is basically together. It still needs a closure in the back, but I can't do that until the skirt is attached. And obviously it needs its skirt attached. So let's work on the skirt now. Basically, I've got 4 massive skirt panels to put together. Underskirt is together. There's a lot of it, and I'm going to put it on the dress form and hoist my dress form up as high as she'll go so that this hem has room to drop. Once I put that on there, I'm going to start putting together, oh there's one more, the lace overskirt, and then we can put them together. So for you guys, it's been about a second. It's actually been a month. Time has run away. I had to go back to work before I finished this dress, and when I'm working a costume contract, I'm typically doing 50-hour weeks. So there's no time or energy left at the end of the day to work on my own projects. So they get put aside for the length of the contract. But I'm finished with that one now, so I can return to this dress. On the plus side, it has been sitting on this mannequin for a month, which means the skirt has definitely dropped and settled, and I can chop away at that and trim that back to hem it. No problems. Let's get back into it. Hopefully I can finish her before another month has passed. It's time to put my lace overlay skirt onto my under satin skirt and just baste them at the top edge together, because after this they are one, and then I can attach them to the bodice. We are getting somewhere. Bodice and skirt are attached, edges are finished in not maybe the nicest way. It was quite difficult to get this under my poor little domestic overlocker, but it's finished enough that it's not gonna come undone. So now it is zip time, but it is pretty much the end of the day. I need to go and walk Flynn, and I very firmly believe that zips should be done fresh first thing in the morning. I need to put a little hook and eye at the top here, and closures are done. The last thing that needs to happen is the hem and the pocket openings in the lace layer. We're nearly there with this underlayer. This dress is so heavy. It's looking very wedding dressy at the moment. All the white and lace which makes sense. It is a bridal fabric shop that I got it from. But this underdress part is done. It is now time to work on this overbodice section. So I have my silk. It's so nice. Let's see how much we've got here, how much I got in my mystery box, and then we can cut it out. There was 11.7 meters of this silk dupion in my mystery box. Perfect amount for dressmaking. The beginnings of this overbodice are done. I've sewn in the darts and attached the back pieces to the front pieces. Now, according to the instructions, the next part is to put in some boning, but because this fabric is so light and there's no lining, no matter how carefully I sew that in, I think it will show. So I think I'm going to skip the boning and hopefully it won't matter too much, which means I can go on to the loops for the back closure. So I've made some bouclés, I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't really know. And I just need to cut this into 6cm pieces and form little loops and then baste those onto the back right. And then the back left will have the buttons. Are all basted in. Another step that I am going to skip or do later is this lace trim that is at the top of the bodice. Because theirs is sewn in and then flipped up, it makes sense for them to do it now. But my lace trim that I'm going to use, I'm just going to hand sew around the top of the bodice once it's all finished. So that's a later step, which means I am jumping ahead to the pannier or the swag skirt section. To a new day and hopefully the last day of working on this dress. I'm really hopeful that I can finish it up today. I feel like it's just taken me a really long time to make this dress, but hopefully today is the day. So this over bodice, I need to finish it obviously, which means attaching this pannier thingamabob swag front thing, and then I need to put the facings together and attach them to the top and sides of the bodice, and that will kind of be structurally finished, which would be amazing. And then I have to do the finishings, like sew on the buttons and the lace at the top and obviously hem things. So yeah, there's not really that much, just lots of little fiddly bits. So let's dive into it and get this done. step was going to be putting the buttons on the other side of the bodice, and I marked them all ready to go, but the ones that I was going to use aren't really the right color, so I'm going to have a scrounge and see if I can find any better ones. But while I'm in the getting things done mode, I'm going to put on the trim on the top of this and also make the bow that goes at the back. We can leave the buttons till last. We did it! It's the end of the day, and okay, she's not finished because I didn't have the buttons to put on. But apart from that, she has her bow, she has her lace trim at the top. She is hemmed, not that you can see that, but we got there. The days where you just have to do all the tiny fiddly bits, like you're like, oh, this won't take long, and it does. It takes a long time. But I think all the little touches are worth it, and she is looking cute. My buttons that I've been waiting for have finally arrived, which means I can finish this bodice and finish this dress. I just have to sew on 10 buttons to do so. I just got in from filming all my frolicking footage, and it's warm. Like, brides, how do you do this? This is a lot of dress to wear. So pretty. I love this fabric. I love this trim. I'm so happy with how this dress came out. It kind of feels a little Christine Daae. I think that might be the hair talking, like from Phantom of the Opera. She's given those vibes. I think this was such a fun mystery box adventure. Thank you to Silk & Stitch for creating the mystery boxes. They didn't give me any of this. I bought this with my own money. I just thought it was a great fun idea, and it was. And if you want to check them out, I'll link their website below so you can see if you want to get a mystery box for yourself. So yeah, check them out if you need some beautiful fabric. And I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!